we've discussed this before in the past. The left kind of leaving the Occupy Wall Street blockades and going back to the coffee shops. I do believe that for to a large extent that's absolutely true. And I think a lot of people took up a barricade online where I think perhaps once upon a time we felt that the same kind of community could be forged. In fact, I think maybe we saw a grander possibility with regards to, wow, and we can reach so many more people now because we have this democratized way of communicating, and we democratized. So, and there's also this idea of the democratization of the information that's available to us now. Now we have so much more. So not only do we not have to rely on each other to organize to actually learn new things, we also don't have to actually organize together at all, really, because we can do it online. And I think that, with all the best will and intention of the world, I think it actually ended up hindering, and I don't want to say that the human element of why or people organizing as a group is so powerful, but perhaps it's just taken away. It didn't actually create the collective energy that it meant to, or that maybe people went into it thinking it would. Perhaps it created the opposite, actually, just a more hyper individual, but we're all individual together on the same forum or same message board.
Yeah.
Kind of effect.
Old people who need company don't tend to be online. You help.
They go to the park.
Well, I mean, they might not be able to. My point, vulnerable people aren't sitting on the internet bitching and moaning.
Sure, sorry.
No. Yeah. I'm saying that I'm agreeing with you. I wonder though, because I missed out on that whole period. I felt Occupy was a really sort of mainstream, and when I say mainstream, I mean obviously a mainstream revolutionary movement would be fantastic, but what I mean is like a sort of a liberal take on sort of activism that we were involved in the noughties. But hang on, go on.
Sorry, go ahead. No. Sorry. I thought that was a
the point I was getting at was that I got the impression that this transfer from the fallout of Occupy to this online culture war, or what it became, wherever they went and however that developed. Like I said, I missed out on it, but my impression was that after such you'd have burnout, you'd have Occupy burnout. So if you're looking at it in a historic way, you've got burnout for thousands of people. They need to rejuice, chill out at their desk, and at some point when something similar starts simmering, they might get involved again. And I mean, nothing's a clean line in terms of progress. Everything's always up and down. But if what we were saying last time, if what we're correct about that there is an increasing interest in these things, then of course it's going to be constituted by many strands of society. And so what might have been like an accelerated strand, acceleratedly active strand at one stage, once that burnout kicks in, they take a dip, where other strands, if there is an increase at all, other strands will take up the slack and eventually recharge the batteries. That original group get involved again. So I'm just saying that it's not to sort of bash anyone or to sort of see that moment as a defeat. Just there's still quite a lot of potential that can come out of that.
Oh no, absolutely. Sorry, and I wouldn't want to appear as if to paint the whole thing as a failed moment. I think it's just something that I think it's more. My point is an observation of the tendencies of of online culture, I guess, where we kind of went with it, because, and this is speaking from the perspective of somebody that would have spent time on message boards. An awful lot of activity was witnessed in things like message boards in the mid 2000s towards 2010. I would have seen a lot of it. However, there would always and there would always be an element of fury and passion there, which I think was what was expressed in
Getting what's the term, expressed the way you said it, but like circumvented away from where it might impact the source of that grievance.
Yeah, I guess it's never really allowed to be born past
Screen.
the level of the screen, and I think that definitely was. I think it definitely was impartial. One of the many outcomes of perhaps the burnout that you're talking about. People having to go into a sort of moment of, well, like I still want to be able to be directly involved with these communities, and oh, hey, look, it still exists, but in the digital space, which we're starting to occupy now, at a much more progressive rate as well. Almost every day, it feels like there's more and more places to go and find people, similar-minded people to talk to.
There's us.
Yeah. And
go on.
Yeah. So no. So I think it was just a take that I had from that, because and again, I guess
it's not merely a hot take, is it? Because it is literally a huge chunk of Stephen's argument, and Lane in the video, I think, I attributed to him in my notes, but it may not have been, because I can't remember him saying it when I watched the video last. But he goes, we are left with the social incapacity to self-organize, to form genuine social networks of resistance or collective subjectivities. So it's certainly the issue. The more pertinent question, I guess. So like I said, like while we can get back to that other question, which eludes me right now, the main thing that we certainly need to sort of give a consideration right now is to sort of answer Stephen's question, like what needs to happen, and at what level, and is that level achievable, in terms of sort of having an impact at all. And so I think 2 weeks ago my answer was that the two of us agreed that more people are getting interested in talking. The discourse is amplifying, perhaps gradually. I mean, it's in the news a lot. Climate change activists, Labour, Sanders, like regardless of them being electoral campaigns and failed or otherwise, the people involved in those campaigns is what we're talking about. That's one element. What else? The fact that politics is re-emerging as a category in our society is huge and significant. That the hegemony of the previous order, neoliberalism, is peeling back. And while the far right were organized to sort of insert themselves into like the forefront of both peeling back even further the blanket, the hegemony, the fringes of the hegemony, but also occupying the space left in that peeling back, it's happening. And I mean, in the preface to Hegemony and Socialist Strategy, Lachlan Mouffe, what way did they put it? It was a politics without frontiers. That's what neoliberalism was, which is a apolitical. It's an apolitical situation. The message was, as soon as Clinton and Blair um, announced their policy suites as not left, not of the left wing, they announced to the world that that's over. Politics is over. We've reached a consensus on way forward. The Cold War is over. Communism is over. Capitalism won. All we're going to do now is find consensus on the issues, and experts then will take over from there. We don't need to discuss it, and everything should be fine. And a politics without frontiers, and it's no politics at all. And the games people play in history tend to be violent. So I think like, the Enlightenment was a response to the 100 Years' War and the medieval religious upheaval in Europe. Money, let's play Monopoly instead of soldiers, and then of course politics is also sort of our politics is due to sort of it's more of a game for the elite back in the day that's been extended. But of course, the socialist intervention at some stage in history, at different stages in history, until it accumulated to become what it is today, or up to 100 years ago, it added an extra dimension and really, really made politics a thing. And Lachlan Mouffe's whole take is that politics as a game provides us frontiers that where we can express that violence. And as long as everyone's playing by the rules of politics, then no one needs to destroy the other. And if you take that away from people, and also, so you took it away, it was taken away from people in the 90s and the noughties, but then people's money was taken away from them as well in the crash. What where do you think aggression is going to come? And that's why, well, hence Trump, hence Brexit. And like we said last time, that's not to say Brexit's a right-wing thing, but we identified it's it was driven by the right and driven by like a xenophobic platform, and a need to a need for the sanctity of the British way or people or sovereignty or whatever nonsense. So that's I don't know, did I say this last time, but the mistake people are making is to think that Corbyn and Sanders and Trump and Farage are the disruptors. They weren't the disruptors. I mean, of course, Thatcher and Reagan were disruptors. They uproot that was an upheaval. But the real disruptors that are at the root of what's happening today is Blair and Clinton. Has their Obama. Absolutely Obama. Like, as soon as Trump came along, I think there was an article written by Obama. I can't remember where it was published. And it was just gross. Oh yeah. He said it was before Trump was elected, and he said he was addressing the media in America, and it was just like, guys, you better really pull your head out of your asses, stop treating this guy like a joke, because we're under a serious threat here. I was like, you fucking asshole. Doesn't matter whether you like it or not. This is people enacting their democratic political expression. And yeah, of course, it might lead to real violent aggression. It gives credence to hate and to white supremacy and Charlottesville and attacks on synagogues and all this disgusting shit that we've seen increasing over the last year or two. But that's fucking your fault for saying we got to suppress this. You being Obama, Give people like Obama. If you gave people an alternative, a decent left option, like Sanders is, Trump might not have happened.